He once called me a filthy sewer rat. And so when people say, well, you were in high no, weren't you? Oh, yeah. And they think of me as one of those three guys that did the, in the shootout, which was not true at all. I was the drunk that Cooper threw out of the jail at high noon, and that went in the bar, which is greater than throughout the 1950s and 1960s. Jack Elam was regarded as the man who played villains the most, yet lived the most honestly in Hollywood. He did not bow to directors. He was not intimidated by A-list stars. And he had even less patience for those who were celebrated purely because of artificial glamour. The list of his enemies stretched from untouchable monuments of the industry to polished, picture-perfect leading men. Some specialized in portraying upright, righteous characters, yet in real life always chose whichever side benefited them most. Others made a show of kindness, while in truth they were con artists who enjoyed exploiting people around them. But the most disturbing of all was a certain male star who reportedly slept with 10 models at a time and turned friendliness itself into a weapon. One used to manipulate and isolate his colleagues. So which fellow actor provoked such deep hatred from Jack Elam? Let us turn back the clock to the golden age of Western films, because the truth behind this feud will force you to look at an entire Hollywood icon through a completely different lens. If the hidden backstage corners of Hollywood from that era still spark your curiosity, please hit like to support the channel. It helps us continue telling the stories that were once buried. And if you want to understand how Hollywood truly operated behind the lights in those days, hit like and join us as we keep digging deeper into these untold stories. Chuck 1. John Wayne. He always played the righteous man, but in real life, he chose whichever side benefited him. Before they ever worked on a film together, Jack Elam and John Wayne had no personal animosity toward each other. They respected one another as fellow actors within the Western genre. Jack Elam with his signature wandering eye and John Wayne with his heavy commanding gait were two complementary pieces that helped create legendary cinematic moments. However, everything changed the moment the word action was called. It happened on the set of Rio Lobo, after the entire crew had been utterly exhausted by 20 straight hours of continuous filming. John Wayne suddenly launched into a thunderous 2-hour patriotic speech. He paced back and forth among the supporting actors, his booming voice filled with solemn authority. You have to understand, this isn't just about making a movie. We are preserving the soul of America. Sacrifice and courage are what set us apart. Sitting on a prop ammunition crate, a burned-out cigarette dangling between his fingers, Jack Elam gently rubbed his temples. To him, Wayne's voice at that moment sounded no different from an unbearable grating noise. Wayne stepped forward and pointed directly at Elam's face. Jack, especially you. Your character's sacrifice for mine has to be perfect. It has to make the audience believe that even an outlaw can die for something noble. Elam slowly looked up, a deeply sarcastic smile spreading across his face. He stared at Wayne the way one might look at a stag, desperately trying to show off its oversized antlers. Noble. Elam's voice was rough and horsero, like the way you sit comfortably in your luxury mansion, writing letters to the men who are actually out there fighting. The set fell into absolute silence. Every backstage sound seemed to be swallowed by collective shock. The scar of avoiding the war that Wayne had always tried to conceal behind heroic roles was ripped wide open by Elam's words. Wayne's face flushed red, the muscles in his jaw twitching uncontrollably. He roared, "What the hell do you know? I've spent my entire life building the image of a strong America." The confrontation grew so intense that director Howard Hawks had to shout, "Gentlemen, for God's sake, we still have scenes to shoot." But Wayne refused to stop. He leaned in close to Elam's face. "If it weren't for that miserable face of yours making me look good by comparison, I would have thrown you out of Hollywood a long time ago." The insult struck like a spark to dry tinder. Yet Jack Elam did not blink. He stood up calmly, brushing the dust off his costume. "Go ahead and try, Duke," Elam whispered, his voice so calm it was unsettling. Wayne clenched his teeth, his fists shaking with rage. But under the pleading of director Howard Hawks and the pressure from the rest of the crew, he was forced to step back. The clash ended in an uneasy ceasefire, but the hatred had officially taken root. For the remainder of the Rio Lobo production, the atmosphere on set was thick with hostility. Wayne began using the power of his superstar status to create obstacles. He demanded that the director cut down Elam's dialogue and push his scenes into the shadows, both literally and figuratively. Their relationship after that film was completely destroyed. They never acknowledged each other again, and Wayne swore he would never share the screen with Elam. Many years later, when Wayne passed away and was praised as an immortal symbol of patriotism, Jack Elam simply took a long drag from his cigarette when asked about his former colleague. He was a great actor, especially when it came to playing a great man. It's just a shame that real life doesn't come with a ready-made script that lets you choose the right side. But for Jack Elam, John Wayne was only the opening chapter. Soon after, another man entered his crosshairs. A figure hailed as a genius, yet one who concealed an authoritarian nature and a blind faith that was even more terrifying. 2. Charlton H. He constantly preached morality, yet behaved like a madman. At first, the relationship between Charlton H. and Jack Elam was based purely on mutual respect. One was a monumental icon of epic cinema, the other the legendary Scarface villain. They entered the film set with the mindset of professionals ready to give their all. But what awaited them instead was a brutal collision. In Jack Elam's eyes, Charlton H. behaved like a god dispensing favors. Hun lived as though he had never taken off the robe of Moses from the Ten Commandments. One afternoon, after finishing a press speech about the moral responsibility of artists, immediately strode toward the set, his face cold as stone, angrily confronting the director over a detail that displeased him. On the way, he bumped into a logistics worker struggling to carry heavy coils of cable. The young man hurriedly stepped aside, but accidentally dropped a prop box right near H's feet. Panicked, he bent down to pick it up, stammering, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." H stopped. He frowned as if he had just brushed against something filthy, then curtly spat out a contemptuous remark. "Next time, stay out of my way." Jack Elam was leaning against a shadowy corner, having witnessed the entire spectacle. The blatant hypocrisy was something he could not ignore. The sound of ash being flicked from a cigarette rang out, followed by a sarcastic voice. "Hey, you there, Charlton?" Elam called out sharply. "I thought you just finished preaching about compassion less than 10 minutes ago, didn't you?" H slowly turned around. His gaze dropped toward Elam as if looking down on a blasphemer. "Jack, you don't understand," H said, his voice still deep and warm yet icy beneath the surface. "If we want to preserve the dignity of this industry, we must maintain order." Elam curled his lip, a crooked smile full of mockery. "That's rich. You stand on a podium preaching morality like a prophet, but in reality, you treat people no better than slaves." The sculpted features of H's face twitched. He snarled, each word sharp and deliberate. "You're just a supporting actor, Jack. Your job is to help make me look perfect on screen." With that, H shoved Elam aside without hesitation. The push did not knock Elam down, but it ignited a smoldering rage. Elam quickly stepped after him, his rough hand grabbing the shoulder of H's expensive silk shirt and yanking him back. "Stop right there, Moses." Elam growled softly, his voice like stone, grinding on stone. H froze. No one in Hollywood, least of all a supporting actor, had ever dared to lay hands on him so roughly. His face contorted with shock mixed with fury. "You dare touch me?" Elam laughed. A hollow sound. "Yes, I dare. Say one more word and that handsome face of yours is finished." The incident only ended when security and the director intervened. H walked away with an air of disdain. Yet there was a flicker of unease in his eyes. Confusion at a man who clearly feared nothing. From that day on, H regarded Elam as an enemy of civilization. He used his influence